Tealight Snowman Ornament.
Let's see what's cooking. Let's get the facts. Let's see what's cooking. It's time for yoyomax12.
Hello everyone. To make the body of the snowman, I used these little wooden discs. I found them in a package like this at Michael's craft store. This came like in a variety pack with different shapes, but it had these different sizes of circles. And I painted them white using plain old acrylic craft paint. I put about 3 coats of paint on these and I sanded it down between coats just to make it nice and smooth. Now for the head of the snowman, I'm using these battery powered tea lights. It has a little switch on the back and it flickers like a real candle. Now to make the snowman hat, you will need this stiffened felt. And for the brim of the hat, I'm using the actual tea light itself as a template for the brim of the hat. This pencil is a fabric pencil. It's used to mark fabric and it works great to write on black felt. So you cut all of these out and you take each one of the hat brims. I folded it in half and then I made a tiny little cut with a pair of scissors. And then I turned it the other way. I folded it the other way and made another little tiny cut. And what you end up with is a little X-shaped hole in the hat in the center. Can you see that? Now for the top of the hat, the very top part, I'm using just a quarter. And I did the same thing. I marked it with a pencil and then I cut them out. And then I did the same thing as I did with the brim. I cut a tiny little hole in the top. Okay, so here are all the hat pieces. You have the brim, the very top, and those rectangles are the sides of the hat. And I will provide measurements for all of these things in the description box below if you're interested. So for the sides of the hat, you need to fold those around into a circle shape. And it needs to be the size of that quarter shape or the top of the hat that you made. So just adjust it so that it's the right size. And then just glue the end with a little bit of hot glue. Just press and hold until it's cool enough. And then to glue on the top of the hat, you could use hot glue. I was using this contact cement that I had that has a little tiny applicator tip, which was perfect for this. And then I glued that onto the base or the brim of the hat. And then once again, a little bit more glue, and then I glued on that quarter size piece on the top. It's okay if it's a little bit messy inside because no one's going to see that part. And there goes the very top of the hat. And then allow that to dry until it holds nicely. This is the glue I was using. This is jewelry and bead glue. And it works really, really well. Now to decorate our hats, we're going to add a little piece of decorative ribbon around the brim. So add a little bit of hot glue and then quickly add on your piece of ribbon. Bring it all the way around and then glue it down. Of course, you can use whatever colors you like, but I was using red and green for this particular snowman. Now for the ornament string, you take a piece of string that's about 14 inches long, tie a knot at the bottom so that you get a little loop. Now we're going to fish this through the hat, and I used this plastic needle that I had that's used it with yarn and knitting, and I just kind of pulled it through. And you pull it until the knot gets down to the base of the hat. You don't want to pull it all the way through. And to secure that last little piece to the hat, all we have to do is add a little bit of hot glue all the way around. And I even actually pushed those pieces of ribbon ends down and glued those down as well. You're not going to see this part of the hat because it's going to be attached to the snowman's head. Now for the scarf, I used red and green yarn. I used 3 strands of red and 3 strands of green. And that yarn is about 12 inches long. I tied a knot very close to one of the ends, leaving a little bit of fringe sticking out. And in order to braid it, I just attached it to this clipboard. And then I braided it by braiding a green strand and a red strand, and then just braiding all the way down until it was all done. I tied a knot in the end, and then I just trimmed off the edges of the scarf so that they were nice and even with a pair of scissors. And that's a completed scarf. Now, you're going to take your snowman, and I'm using that bead glue, and I'm attaching these little beads that I also found at Michael's craft store. Actually, I found these little black shiny flat beads, and I also found these little tiny black ones for the smile portion of the snowman's head. Now keep in mind that when you put on your beads, make sure that the switch for the Tealight to turn it on and off is at the top or at the side of the snowman's head, that it's not at the bottom, because we're going to have to attach it to the body and you don't want to cover up the switch. So now for assembly, add a little bit of glue to one of the discs, the larger one, and then attach the smaller disc, overlapping them a little bit. And then I attach some little snowman buttons, which are the same flat glass beads, and then a little bit of glue on the very top, and we're going to attach the head. And this is what I was telling you, make sure when you attach the head that you're not covering that switch up, because you need to turn it on and off. So make sure that switch, when you put your snowman face on, that it's on the top or on the side and not at the bottom, so that you actually can turn it on and off. And unfortunately, the battery compartment gets covered up, so once the battery's gone, pretty much it won't light up anymore. Now to decorate it a little bit more, I added a little sparkly heart. This is craft paper that has a peel on the back. You peel the back part off and it's sticky. And I just added on a little heart because I thought that was really cute. And then we're going to attach the scarf. So just place the scarf the way you think it should go. And I kind of tied it off just to be able to see if I had the right amount of yarn. Tied it off. If you like the way it looks, then we're going to glue it on. I used a little bit of hot glue and then just glued on the scarf on the sides and on the back to make sure that it stayed put, and then tied it off. Then I added more glue on the bottom of a top hat and put quite a bit, because you really want this to stick well, because this is basically what's holding the string to your ornament. Press and hold, and your snowman is done. And you can turn it on, and he's got a little flickering nose, and he can flicker away in your Christmas tree. And don't forget, if you'd like, there's a great space in the back to personalize your ornament and to put the year that you made it. Now you'll notice that these snowmen in the photographs at the end have 2 buttons, and the one I showed you for assembly had 3. I mean, you can customize these and put as many buttons or as few buttons as you want, and you can use whatever colors you want. I made this snowman for a ornament exchange with some other YouTubers. I have quite a few other ornaments on my channel. If you want to check these out, please click on your screen right now to see my ornaments playlist, or see the link in the description box below. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.